Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, the Manga Man here, and today we're talking about One Piece chapter 1013. For those that normally read my solo leveling reviews or overviews, timing wasn't the best. It was kind of like the last fasting season is now over. Eid was yesterday, so I will do a catch-up video next week in regards to solo leveling. Uh, as far as One Piece is concerned, the Scanlation came out around about 8:30 a.m. UK time. It is at the point of recording 11:30 a.m. UK time, so it's been out for a couple of hours, 3 hours or so. So without further ado, let's get into this review. So this chapter honestly should have been called "Fate is Sealed," because literally everyone's fate was sealed to a degree or another. Because to summarize the chapter, Ulti's fate was sealed. Zeus's fate was sealed. Luffy's fate was sealed. We had a setup fight, or a setup to a fight, and that was pretty much it. The next fight and their fates were sealed. That's kind of essentially what this chapter was about. And a lot of it made sense. Some of it was surprising, and there was a curveball in there. But nothing out of the ordinary when you think about everything is. And I will kind of summarize where I think things are going to go at the end. But let's kind of go through the chapter. So a good chunk, a good 99% of this chapter is really just about what's going on with Big Mom. And there's a few things that really happen. First, we get to see what Nami's going to do against Ulti. Ulti gets back up, obviously, from the attack. It is underpowered for that level. And essentially Nami tries the tornado tempo technique, which gets dodged and she gets countered. But just as that happens, it's kind of like Oda decided this was an episode of Power Rangers, and Charlotte Linlin just put everything together, developed the Mega Sword, Battle Axe, and bow, and all the like you did in the original kind of Power Rangers, where you'd put all the different weapons together and do this finishing move. It was like a fusion. Like, she literally calls it fusions, and she does this funky technique that basically blasts Ulti away. This kind of at that stage was the writing on the wall for Zeus's arc, because one of the theories people had was that Zeus is gonna help Nami take down somebody. He's gonna be the power up for her to take down stronger foes. This didn't happen, because ultimately, as soon as Ulti went down, Big Mom took time away from them too, and she's, look, I'm gonna deal with these lot. And then Zeus's situation started. And we find out what the big secret was, what Prometheus asked. He asked for a female cloud. He wanted a girlfriend. And Big Mom obliged with Hera. And basically, Zeus is now not required, surplus to requirements, and Hera is asked to basically eat him. And there's like a scene where basically Zeus is telling Nami sorry, and he goes, the last thing I can do is help you get away and give up my life. And he does try. He does beg for his life as well originally, but he's sorry to Nami, which is kind of sad. And then she kind of forgives him and tries to give him some clouds, because literally his soul is ripped out of this cloud form. And he goes, "Oh, my soul is damaged. I can't eat these clouds." And he gets eaten, and it's kind of like the harsh realities of this world that this One Piece is. And these things happens. Death is inevitable. Although Oda is criticized for bringing people back and this and that, the other, people do die, and homies do die as well. He is a fragment of the soul of Big Mom. So Hera gets a power up. So this eliminates that potential with Zeus. I mean, it's a power up. Hera's a lot more ruthless than Zeus is. Is there a chance that part of his personality comes through in Hera? We don't know. That is a line that we can go through. A storyline, sorry. What it does mean though is Nami's power up has to come through something else. So whether that's going to be an upgrade to the climate tech, whether that's going to be haki, or whether there's going to be a weather manipulation fruit, devil fruit. If someone in the world has got that, like maybe Luffy's father's got it potentially, and he dies, then she might get the fruit. Or if there is someone out there who's got it, or they find it, ultimately the only other option really is a lot of people kind of theorize this about the harpy, the ice harpy ability, the ice ability uh, that the harpy had in Dressrosa, being a fruit on the ship because it's the closest fruit they could find. So that's potentially still out there, but ultimately it means that her power has to come from somewhere else. Um, then what tends to happen after this is the escape and someone intervening, and in this case it was Kid, because Kid's going to be the one that's going to have to take this person down, or at least hold her off till Law turns up to help him out. So in that regard, that's happened. He uses a Gibson technique. I often find with Big Mom, although she's a physical presence and she's tough, she's basically like a bowling ball. She rolls over very easily, as shown earlier on. Because Kid throws her down. She gets back up absolutely fine, but she's very easily taken off her feet. And that's probably just down to her body proportions, because she's like, essentially, she's very big, and then she's got these arms and legs that aren't quite up to par. So she oddly designed. I think that's kind of what they're showing here. So yeah, he intervenes, tells them to get away. They take time and run, and essentially that's pretty much all we get from that area. That was most of the chapter. Then it ends with Luffy just basically falling off the top of Onigashima. And he's out, obviously for dramatic effect. The amount of times you've seen Luffy be knocked out momentarily, at least, literally in this fight, this happened at least twice that I can think of. Or this might be the second time, possibly third. And he's like knocked out, falling off, and Luffy and Kaido's like, I got too serious, I got too excited, which probably means that there's a level of a technique or ability above what we've seen so far that's been off screen, kind of like we've been on screen with this combined technique. And that's absolutely fine. From a storytelling point of view, it makes sense. He's only now reached the level of understanding to get to that level of fighting. So it would make sense for Luffy to not be able to beat Kaido, because that basically undermines the whole thing with the level of power that Yonko have if he defeats him now by himself. Considering he's 19, 20 years old now, and they've been at this level for an extended period of time. They've been dealing with people at this level for a while. How long he's been a Yonko, I don't know, but considering he was part of the Rocks Pirates before this, he's got to a level now where he's experienced, probably I think he's in his 40s, maybe in his 50s. So there's a long time between now and the end of series where Luffy can get to a level capable of matching or exceeding Yonko level ability opponents. So for him to lose that is absolutely fine. When you think about the prophecy of the Nine Shadows, it doesn't necessarily mean it was the Nine Samurai. It could literally be, like stated before by a lot of other YouTubers and myself in a previous video, it's probably going to be the 8 Supernova and Yamato that's probably going to do the damage. And when that happens, that's when Kaido's got to fall. Honestly, I felt this scene would have been perfect for the typical cliche anime and manga line that, you're 100 years too soon to think you can defeat me line. Or in this case, you're 100 chapters too soon to defeat me on your own. So that's kind of where I see that going. No problems there. So what do I see happening now while I wrap up this review? There's a few things now. Law ultimately has to get over to Kid at one point for that fight to continue. Now that Luffy's fallen off, I see a lot of different things. He could be saved by somebody like Marco or someone that flies, or potentially, because it's in the news, this may be where the Grand Fleet rock up, and this is that incident that we've been told about, where this is where they make the appearance. He falls onto one of the ships, and they arrive at Onigashima, or below Onigashima, and they're following it back to the mainland of Wano. That's possibly what's happening with there. They could, let him recuperate, and that's kind of where I see that going. What Kaido does in the meantime, I'm not sure, because ultimately he's still controlling Onigashima to get to the capital. So that's something that's quite, open to possibilities. A Big Mom's gonna have a handful with Kid. Not necessarily being overwhelmed, but I think stalled is probably what's going to happen with this. And then Law's going to help out at certain points. Before any of them really get defeated, it's the underlings that really need to get taken care of. As we've already seen before, the main headliners that are left that are of any significance are Apu and Hawkins. They're the ones. So as long as they're taken care of, it's fine. As we know, Apu is basically dealt with by Deus Drake and Hugoro. Where that is right now, I don't know. So that's the last thing I can remember of it, other than Hugoro turning into an ice demon and being saved by Chopper. But there's also Killer taking on Hawkins. That takes care of the headliners that are not Tobiropo. Now, obviously, Deus Drake was one of the Tobiropo. He's betrayed them, or switched sides. So there's 5 left, and of those 5, 2 have just been taken down by Big Mom, ending the whole matchup scenario with Nami and Usopp. We don't know what's going on with Robin, Black Maria, and Brookie. So that needs wrapping up at some point. And we've also got Sasaki versus Foronki, and we've also got Jinbei versus Who's Who. So until they get resolved, we're not really going to see much going on upstairs. And until they do their fighting, not all of the supernova are going to be free. Obviously, there's a whole thing with Jack as well that's still looming. We haven't got any of that. And then Queen and King are still about as well, which is where I think Zoro and Sanji are heading towards. I think it's going to be a team up where basically the Scabbards are going to hold off King and Queen, the ones that are alive still or kicking still, so that Zoro can get healed up by Marco, the Mink Doctor, and Tony Chopper, and hopefully then be able to fight. He might not be fully powered up, but he'll be significantly healed enough to probably do a stronger version of Ashura and take down one of the top 2. And when they get taken down, I think that's when it's going to start culminating towards the end, and it's going to be about defeating Kaido, but also making sure Onigashima doesn't fall on the capital, and that's kind of where it's going to go. Plus, there's a potential for another enemy. The lurking legend still hasn't really shown itself, unless they're talking about Shibek and Rocks. So that's also a possibility. And so there's also the plot ending with where Hiyori is, and how does that get resolved, and dealing with Orochi's other head. So there's a lot of things I'm mumbling here at this point, but anyway, that's pretty much the chapter. That's kind of where I see things going. Let's see how all these different plots, storylines, and threads end up, and I will see you next time. Peace.